Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? I saw a video that you posted on Twitter this morning about Monday Night Football and about the Tom Brady comeback. And look, it's undeniable. He's the greatest of all time. We know that. How much culpability, though, do you put at the feet of the Saints last night?
Oh, I think a lot of it. I think they put it on a platter for him when they had him dead to rights. I'm watching this game, and like the second to the last series before they got rolling, you know, the one where they looked like an interception, but it wasn't. It bounced.
Yep.
The series before then, every time Brady dropped back to pass, he was getting hit. Had no chance. Had to flip a shovel pass out there. I mean, they relentless. And then all of a sudden, you know, to go to the 3rd and 1 call when all you got to do when they got 3 timeouts left, and you decide to throw it on a little slant route, and ball gets knocked down. Now you got to punt it. And instead of handing it off and making them use a timeout or letting a little more time run off the clock, you don't give that guy time. And then you punt it, and then you go down, and the interception's not there. And then all of a sudden they hit, I think it was Godwin on a crosser, and he got the first down, and then it started downhill. And what happens is if you're going to zone him up or if you blitz him and don't get to him, and their offensive line started to pick it up the last 3.5 minutes, because in truth, Matty, I was getting so bored watching the game for the Bucs. It's like, I'm seeing this. Where's the committee? They're throwing 50-plus times. It's now starting the inside 5 minutes. How's Tom going to pull this off if he does? And all the Saints got to do is play smart and get a couple first downs and make a few plays. And Todd Bowles trusts the defense. And another turning point is when Brady wanted to stay in on 4th and long when it was backed up, and they did a double take, forced him to punt. Bowles trusted his defense, and they got stops, and they could not convert. I think a lot of it falls on the Saints. You know, we're at a time when you go with what got you there, not that anything's got them there this year, but in a game, and then you just can't allow guys to get into lanes, and the ball's always coming out quick. So if you're going to blitz him, you better get to him because the ball comes out quick, and if you're going to play zone, then you can't leave him any window, because when the temperature of a game goes up with him, Matt, I truly believe this, and this isn't hyperbole for me. I know he's 45, but if we took inside that wristband he wears and stuck one of those, like a pulse monitor or heart rate monitor, which I guess we could do. I don't know why we never have, and it's something that could measure his pulse and his blood pressure. It wasn't invasive. I will bet you, as I'm sitting here now, that in the middle of the second quarter or the middle of the first quarter, his blood pressure and pulse rate's moving faster on Brady than it is when he's down 17-3 and he's driving to win a game. I'll bet you. I think the great ones have something different that a lot of us just can't do, to slow everything down while everybody's in chaos. And the Saints were floundering around in chaos offensively and defensively at the end, played it not to lose, and gave Brady too many chances. Eventually he's going to get you, even though the team has played very average this year. They've got weapons, and if you don't get to him and you leave small lanes, you might as well forget it. And a couple plays in it, and in particular, like I said, I would not. I'm an aggressive guy. I would have handed the ball off and at least killed clock, tried to play downhill football and hold it for 4 more downs that way. I would not have thrown it on 3rd and 1. I thought it was a mistake, and the Saints have beat themselves up a lot this year. They didn't play poorly. You know, they moved the ball some, nothing explosive, but they had a lead. You can't give those up with a Super Bowl caliber defense at the end of a game.
Sean, they threw it on 3rd and 1 to Marquez Callaway, who hadn't played since the Rams game.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah, not even to mention the target. You know, whether that's Andy Dalton going with a read the wrong way, why you would even put. And I understand trusting your players, but you can't trust them to the point where 12 gets more chances, Matty. You know this, right? And so you get to it, you're not even thinking about that. And if you're the quarterback, you got to be cognizant of a guy trying to, you know, get his way back in, get his feel, and at least give it to somebody who, you know, that's a little more familiar at the time with it going there, and that's whether it's on the quarterback or why you'd call it. I just, get back to old school, line up in the eye, turn around and hand it to the eye back, and get a tight end in the fullback position or full. And there's no secrets down there. It's bring your own blocker. if they get the first down, the game probably is over because they would have been forced to use timeouts, and you don't give Brady the ball. But I've seen the movie before, and I know not 13 down. We've only seen it in the Super Bowl, but you give the guy shots, he's going to get you, and you can't change up defensively. You got to change it up, but you can't stop. You can't play not to lose when you're playing Brady, and he'll get you in. Now they're at 6-6. They're going to win the division because it's piss poor.
Yeah.
But the Saints had a chance to surely disrupt it last night, and they just haven't been able to consistently do it this year.
Sean, Saints have been going into their bye one game out of first place with Tampa going to play San Francisco.
That's right. One more game, one more loss in the loss column in Tampa. Now it may change now because of Brock Purdy, but Purdy played well. Their roster's good, and I got news for you. I right now, as we sit, I know the Saints are good. I don't know what Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles and that group's going to do, and Tom, but you sure as hell, forget the offensive side. We'll deal with that. Brock Purdy's going to have to study, and then Kyle will dial him up. How are you going to dial up points if you can't move the football much this year? How are you dialing up points against the 49er defense? It would have been a golden opportunity, and you're right, and they could have stole a division just merely on schedule alone had they closed last night out.
One more on the Saints, because honestly, Sean, let's be honest. I mean, the Saints at 4-9, they're just not interesting. The only thing that's interesting about this team from now on is if they fire Dennis Allen and move on. So let me just ask you that, like, from a perception standpoint, it's not altogether unprecedented to see a coach dismissed after a year. Do you have a strong feeling what the Saints should do with Dennis Allen? Because that is the conversation here today. Should be
here in Houston. Should be in Denver. Although those are 3 first-year guys.
Yeah.
The other first-year guys seem to be pretty safe. Hell, look what Dan Campbell, who's not a first-year guy, look what he's done to put the Detroit Lions in position to control some destiny and make a playoffs. The way that they had him left for dead after week 3, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not and I know this sounds like soft-hearted, and I try to be compassionate. Hard business, and going into it what you get into. I don't like to, get somebody fired, but the truth of the matter is, here's the best way to ask it. Are the Denver Broncos getting better? Your answer is simply no. They're getting worse, Matty, right?
Yeah.
Are the Houston Texans getting better? No, there are 12 games in, and they've gotten worse from the get-go. I don't care what the optics look like with Denver on a one-year guy or the Houston Texans on another one-year head coach. And with Dennis, I like Dennis. Dennis is a good coach. Dennis is a hell of a defensive coordinator when he's just coordinating defenses. But it's been a struggle, and you ask yourself, have the Saints consistently got better this year? And we know the answer. So if it's me and I'm the general manager, I'm not in the feel-good business. If you feel like moving forward that's your guy, then retain him and get on with it and deal with what the PR and the fans are yelling at you and screaming at you and season ticket holders, and go with it. But to me, just like you would a defensive end or an offensive tackle, you have to evaluate a coaching staff every day, every week, just like they do hard on a player. Player's screwing up 3 weeks into the season, or he keeps making the same mistake, you cut him. It sounds hard. You cut him. Or in case last year, Matt Rule getting rid of Joe Brady, we see it all the time.
Yeah.
We see coaches do it all the time. So for me, if you don't feel like moving forward that you're going to maximize the room in the building, I don't give a rat's ass if it's a one-year coach. If you think Dennis is going to get him better, great. But if you don't, or Lovie Smith, or I could care less with the perceptions. You can't fire a guy after 1 year. Well, what's better? Keeping a guy around that we're not going to win with right now, apparently, or getting rid of the guy and starting over fresh and seeing if we can get into sweepstakes for Dan Quinn or Sean Payton, depending on who you are. So for me, I evaluate just like I would a player. Are you making this better? Are you getting better? What's our future with you, and what's the ceiling? And if I can't find answers that are going upward and they're staying stagnant or going downward, I've got to make a move and replace an empty house everywhere. There is no sacred cow, period.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.